So after years of hoping, guessing and faking, at last I've got my hands on the new Honda XL750 Transalp. Oh dear. Oops, that's not good. God. I could have sworn the bike was in gear. More about that in a couple of minutes. It turns out making a new Honda Transalp video can get a bit expensive. But how does she stack up against the Aprilia Tuareg? You can easily pick up a brand new Tuareg for about £9,500. That's the same price as Honda's new Transalp. Now the Alp comes in at about 208 kilograms, the Tuareg 204. If you wanted to be picky, you could say the Tuareg comes with a thin bash plate and handguards, whereas the Transalp does not. The Italian also carries more fuel. Now in return, the Honda does come with a substantial rear rack fitted. The Tuareg does not. So that kind of balances things out. But still, the Tuareg does have a slight weight advantage. The seat height on the new Transalp is 850mm. Now that's about 10mm shorter than the Tuareg. Now I'm 5'11", getting my feet firmly on the ground, legs bent, not a problem at all. So I think the Transalp will also appeal to shorter riders. For some reason, after about an hour's worth of riding, I do start to feel a little cramped. So perhaps the foot pegs are a bit higher, but the geometry for me personally isn't quite right. Perhaps that's down to the seat. You definitely sit in the bike and not on it. If you're looking to take off with a Pillion, the Transalp will do it. But there's no DCT option, which I'd prefer for 2-up touring. I'd probably go with the automatic NT1100, with its included luggage and a few extra ponies. It's hardly a big secret. I don't really like the way the front of the Tuareg looks. But what do you guys think of the new Transalp? It does look better in the flesh, but it doesn't really set me on fire. It's very NC or CBX looking. Mind, the Ross White version with gold rims looks way more nostalgic. The lovely people at Newcastle Motorcycles have lent me this Transalp all weekend. Now this is not a stock bike. It has a few extras fitted, such as those spotlights, sturdy handguards that work, the branded radiator cover, wider rally foot pegs, and a fabulous up and down quick shifter. That is brilliant fun. All these extras and more are available individually. You see, I thought you had to buy one of Honda's packs, but you don't. If you're just after the handguards or just the quick shifter, that's fine. I can say with some authority, the crash bars do a pretty good job.
Oh dear. Oops, that's not good. I managed to pick it up. Well, that's what happens. Oops. Oh, doesn't seem to be much damage.
Oh dear. Luckily, there was no damage to the engine casings or the fairing plastics, but the protection did take a bit of a hit, and so did the handguards. Sorry guys. I'll explain the cost implications in a couple of minutes, but it does turn out both Honda and Aprilia know how to charge for accessories. Moving on, let's check out the Transalp's good stuff. The all-new 755cc parallel twin engine is a hoot and chucks out over 10 horsepower more than the Italian, and you can feel it. Fortunately, the bike isn't too top heavy. Even I managed to pick it up, which is a bloody miracle. For a bike with a 21-inch front, it carves up corners better than most other adventure bikes. The Tuareg also has excellent road manners. These big bikes shouldn't be this good on the road. The Transalp is probably this much better on the road than the Tuareg, but to be honest, it's a very close call. The switchgear feels better quality than the Tuareg, and although the screen is good on the Aprilia, the Transalp throws less turbulence at your adventure hat. The 5-inch display is the same size as the Italians. It's bright, easy to read and navigate. But is this dash clean and tidy, or is it a bit vanilla? Can't decide. Just like the Tuareg, the Transalp remembers your last riding mode even when the ignition is off. You can change riding modes on the fly. Now hear me out on this. When you press the mode button, your selected mode will flash. Now you've kind of got to come off the throttle. You can't be accelerating. If you dip the throttle, it'll set. So not too sure why. Perhaps it's some kind of safety feature. But just like the Tuareg, you don't have to stop to change riding modes. Thank God. The display is well designed and intuitive. Customizing settings or changing the display layout is child's play. Assuming you have a smartphone, download Honda's RoadSync app. The whole system will happily chat away with directions to Starbucks or Switzerland.
Go for 36 meters. Turn right in 114.8 feet.
And most importantly, the exhaust note is pleasantly growly, very unlike Honda. Now, the not so good stuff. It wouldn't be me if I didn't have something to complain about, so buckle up. Sorry guys, it's not great off-road. It really isn't. If you were expecting something to knock the T7 off its throne or the Tuareg, this isn't the bike to do it. It simply doesn't feel as composed as the Tuareg. Suspension is a little bouncy. Balance and gearing aren't quite right. And the seat is definitely the wrong shape. If you do attempt a gravel track somewhere, you'll be standing up. For me, the bars are just a little bit too low. I'm sure you could get some risers for it, but yeah,
For me, they're just not quite right.
The Transalp shouldn't really see anything more than dry, easy farm tracks. I certainly would not attempt the Trans-Euro trail. Just for reference, ground clearance is 210mm on the Honda, 240 on the Tuareg. There is also another reason why you should never take this bike off-road. What the hell is this? The oil sump? This is a huge concern. It's just asking to be hit by a small rock, and that's 100% game over. You'll need a 2-inch thick steel bash plate to protect that. I guess the clues were always there. It's not called a CRF, and those Karoo street tyres suggest road only. Very quickly, let's go back to that road sync system. Now, you will need a Bluetooth headset thing to listen to the instructions. I'm not a big fan of listening to music or directions while you're riding. It's too distracting. Also, that arrow, it always points straight ahead. So if you've got a left turn or a right turn coming up, the arrow will not move. That seems a bit flawed. Now, I'm a bit old school. I would have just preferred a mounting bar on the screen so I could just chuck my GPX on it or a phone when I needed to. Disappointingly, and just like the Tuareg, there is no oil window. That's a bit of an oversight. Although the bike is brimming with technology, there is no cruise control. Now, I can kind of take it or leave it personally, but I know a lot of you guys love it for longer journeys. I do get that. You're out of luck on the Transalp. You're also a bit screwed if you get a puncture. Unlike the Tuareg, the rims on the Transalp are tubed. Big mistake. Is the Transalp right for me? Sadly not. It's missing too many dual sport features. It is an excellent road bike, without a shadow of a doubt. It's brilliant. It's well built. It will be reliable. But I think people who buy the Transalp should do exactly as nature intended. Get yourself away to the Swiss Alps or the Italian Alps. Go touring on it and it'll be fantastic. Just don't take it off-road. And certainly don't drop it. Have Honda been a little bit lazy here? Are they simply protecting their flagship adventure motorcycle? I'll let you decide. There are some big name motorcycle dealers out there who will still charge you the first £2,000 of any damage done to a bike while you're out test riding it. Now, fortunately for me, Newcastle Motorcycles have this kind of gap policy thing. It only costs £10, but it reduces your liability to £250. The cost to repair the Transalp was close to £600. Oh, ouch. So my liability was £250. Still a bit of an expensive weekend. Could have been a lot worse. I do recommend you give the guys at Newcastle Motorcycles a call. Get yourself out on a Transalp. It might not be for me, but it could be for you. I am absolutely sick of my own voice. God knows how you feel. But anyway, time to wrap this one up. Thank you so much for your company.